Hello and welcome to Hollow Hearts 101 with Dr. Jacqueline De Rosario, America's marriage coach. This episode, we delve into a oxymoronic topic. How does one become comfortable with being uncomfortable? Yes, today we're talking about why it is necessary for you to become uncomfortable and why you must lean into that uncomfort in order for you to cultivate greatness within yourself. Today's episode is going to be a little bit of a mind shift, so make sure that you are taking notes, pausing, and even rewinding to make sure you don't miss a beat. Without further ado, here's Dr. Jacquie on being uncomfortable while being comfortable.
Hey, it's Dr. Jacquie here, and I'm back with our podcast. You know, I was getting dressed today. I have an event. I'm filming something later on today, and I was just talking to hair and makeup. You know, we were just talking. And this topic came up that I said I have to share with the listeners. The power of being uncomfortable. You know, as a society, we just don't like to feel bad. It's getting to the point now where even if you tell somebody the truth, we're truth averse. Because if it makes us feel some sort of way, we're just unhappy with that. I remember when I was a new mother, and I had my second son. When you would say something to him like, stop doing that, or look, why do you do this, or whatever, stop doing that. He would say, don't say that to me, because he didn't like the way that it made him feel. But I wanted to really share that there's something really powerful about being uncomfortable. So I want to hit it like this. Basically, if you learn the power of being uncomfortable, you will be able to embrace, receive, live in the reward of being uncomfortable, which is undeniable. Being uncomfortable is where you have to be when you want to transverse where you are to where you want to be. If you believe that you have a better life that's waiting for you on the other side, I'm going to tell you like Jesus told his disciples, I must needs go through Samaria. Samaria was a place that was unwanted. It was undesirable. The Jews didn't want to deal with the Samaritans and vice versa. But he said, I must needs go. If you want to get to the other side and transverse where you are to get to where you want to be, if you see in your mind's eye yourself being this person that doesn't look like the person looking back at you in the mirror, then you must needs go into the realm of feeling uncomfortable. Because in this place, you learn to be someone different, to do something different, to think differently. And if you want to change, you have to be the change. If you're happy with what you're doing now, then just keep doing it. And I can guarantee you'll still be where you are tomorrow. You'll still be who you are tomorrow. But if you're trying to go somewhere, which I'm trying to do, then you have to begin to embrace being uncomfortable. You also have to embrace change, because that's another thing that makes people feel uncomfortable. Are you hearing me?
Are you hearing her?
Yeah.
Mr. Alex Rosario.
I literally just came in and all I'm hearing is Jesus said I must needs go.
Well,
and there's always been a debate on whether he was black or not. Well, if he was talking like that,
must needs go. Well,
he was definitely black.
Yeah. Well, but he did need to
go.
go through Samaria. And what he was saying is, though this is going to be uncomfortable, it's not going to be great, it's not a desirable, it's what I need to do. Like, let me give you an example. I was talking to my old assistant, and she lived in Coconut Grove. And her husband was really trying to aspire to get to the next level. So they would go shopping at Merritt Park. And for the listeners, Merritt Park is like this very prestigious area. It's like the equivalent to Fifth Avenue. So you have nothing but designer outlets there. People, high 4 or 5 star eateries and things like that. People are very, snooty and well off that go there. And I remember he would go to the gym there. He would do a lot of things there. She felt uncomfortable there. And, I had to share with her, I go there too. But I also feel uncomfortable. But I noticed the more I went there, the more I felt like I belonged. And I also noticed that the more I started to go there, the more I started to attract the wealth that belonged to me. But I had to first sit in being uncomfortable.
As you hear Dr. Jacquie talk about, For all of those who are new to Hollow Hearts 101, we have our time when we take the time to Once again, for all of our first-time listeners to Hollow Hearts 101, this is the time where we take time to reflect and kind of break down what was just said. Dr. Jacquie and Alex, outside of discussing Jesus' ethnicity and race, discussed and talked about what it was to be uncomfortable and how sometimes that uncomfortability comes with the growth. Dr. Jacquie said, we must get used to uncomfortable situations. And in the example, her former assistant wasn't uncomfortable with being in wealthy situations, yet she desired wealth. What are you uncomfortable with, but it's something that you must come peace with? If you want to be wealthy, you can't be uncomfortable in wealthy situations. You have to become used to them. What goals do you have? And do your environments align with your goals? Take this time to reflect.
Relationships because you're afraid of being alone, because you don't like feeling uncomfortable with yourself. But I have to really ask the golden question. If you don't like being alone with yourself, why should anybody else? Being uncomfortable. You know what I learned? My favorite book is The Law of Recognition. And what he shared in that book was that one of the ways that you'll know who a mentor is they're typically someone that's harsh. They might be a little abrasive. They tend to make you feel inferior, make you feel inadequate. That is a mentor. So basically, in a nutshell, a mentor is someone that makes you feel uncomfortable. Now, I can't tell you how many doggone people I ran away from because I didn't like the way I felt around them. Some of you all need to go to another level because you surround yourself with a different caliber of people. You know, there's some research that says if you look around yourself at 10 people that are around you, that's where you're going to be in the next 10 years. So, wow, that's scary to think about that. Like, because I'm around some people that I don't want to be like them in 10 years, you know. Well, it means that you need to change your constellation. You need to change the people that you hang around. But usually when you do that, the people that are on the next level above you, what do they make you feel? Uncomfortable. Why? Because they know more than you. They do more than you. They have more than you. But guess what? If you sit in that place of feeling uncomfortable, being in that very constellation with those people, just by virtue of being in close proximity to them, will cause you to go up. Think about what I'm saying. You're going to go up because you're going to learn the things that you need to learn. You're going to start going to the places that you need to go, where your next is, where wealth is, where, you know, connections are, where all of these things that you're going to be needing to plug into. But in order to get there, you must needs go through being uncomfortable.
Where did that must needs go come from?
That was her interpretation, I guess.
No, that's from the Bible.
Must needs go.
Jesus told his disciples,
I must
needs go. And that's when he met the woman at the, remember the Samaritan?
Yeah.
He was the first woman evangelist because she went all over and started telling people about him.
No, but I'm asking, what version says that he said it like that? I must needs go?
Can we go back on point? We're talking about
No.
Because
you keep saying that, and I'm like,
Just
where are you
trust
getting must needs go from? I need to go, and are you like?
He's saying that some things you
must
have to
needs
go
go.
through. So he's saying.
But why does the needs?
Oh Lord.
Why does need have an S on it?
Okay, Alex, if we can draw back to the power of being uncomfortable, I think that's the whole point. That's the reason why I brought it up.
Got it.
That in order to get to your next, in order to get into that great place, in order to be the great person that's already in turn hidden, buried inside of you, you're going to have to learn the power of being uncomfortable,
I
because the
agree.
pathway there is paved with discomfort.
I agree.
Mm-hmm.
I don't think that anything grows in comfort.
All of your greatest things. Listen, we don't usually change unless somebody gets on us about something we're not doing up to par. Then we put in the effort when they light a fire under us. That's why these sayings are even created. I'm going to light a fire. That means you're going to get on them, put pressure, so that out of that pressure, which is usually discomfort, the person's going to strive now to be, strive now to do. And that's what I'm sharing. So, I've been really a big proponent of sharing with people. Did you know how many things we don't recognize because we think that they should be wrapped up like a candy bar, with a bow, and they should be sweet and pleasant and everything great? But that's really not the truth. The greatest things that are going to happen to us, the greatest afflictions create in us the greatest gems. It's that pressure that we go under that seems to create something so beautiful in us that was already there, but it kind of finishes it. It just kind of puts it through that process where it's exposed and on display.
What do you have to say about pressure, Alex? Like, as far as what uncomfortable moments have made you into a better man?
I would first answer that by saying, to me, especially in this day and age, people live via extremes. Like, people live by extremes. So you're either living in the extreme of what you want, which is usually comfortable, kind of like what seems like Dr. D's hinting at, where, hey, I just want to be comfortable. So you're living in an extreme to try to make that a reality. And then you actually have your people that live in the other extreme where they're accepting every single challenge, thinking that every challenge is what's going to get them there. Like, the hardest thing is always going to be the worst thing. And they're like literally like encouraging tough times just to say that, hey, I'm able to go through anything. Like, they'll get in a toxic relationship and then the man leave and do all this other type of stuff. Well, I don't need him. I don't need no one. It's like, there's a lot of extremes where it's like both things are very toxic, because you do need people, and you aren't supposed to struggle the way that you're welcoming your struggle. So most people that I know that are around my age, which is late 20s, early 30s, they live in extremes. So to answer your question, I think the most important thing is to have a good mindset and a good understanding of what you're living for and what comes with the success and the goals that you're striving for. So I was a D1 athlete. I was all state in high school and things of that nature. I understand that, hey, to be a D1 athlete, you got to practice hard and you got to practice a lot. Have weight room at 6 a.m, stuff like that. Like, there's certain, I guess what Dr. D's calling discomfort with being a D1 athlete. I have to still take a full schedule. I have to be a full-time student, so that's a minimum of 12 hours. Most of the time, I take 15. Then we're traveling, and then we're doing all these different type of things. So everyone knows the perks, the popularity, the girls, the things of that nature. But there's a lot of sacrifice. See, I call it sacrifice. I don't really call it discomfort. Like, there's sacrifices that come with being wealthy. There's sacrifices that come with being successful, being talented. I don't call it discomfort because...
Well, what I'm saying is, you have to be willing to be uncomfortable, right? So usually when we're asked, when we get a challenge to do something that we're not familiar with, we feel uncomfortable because it's unknown territory for us.
Yeah.
So I'm saying growth does not happen. You can't transverse where you are to where you're trying to go unless you start to embrace feeling uncomfortable.
Hello, welcome back to another break with Hollow Hearts 101. This is another time for us to take a break and to dissect and to understand some of the things that were just said. Dr. Jacquie and Alex both hinted at sacrifice and being uncomfortable as states that you have to be in order to receive growth. Dr. D even went further to say that your opportunity that you need, more likely than not, won't be packaged like a present. This is my time and my challenge to you, the listener. What opportunities are you shying away from because it makes you uncomfortable? Secondly, what opportunities are you delusional about? What things do you think are going to happen, like the heaven split sky and a dooming voice saying this is your blessing? That's not how it's going to work. Take this time to digest the opportunities that you have walked by, embraced, or even have made you stronger, and reflect to see if they made you uncomfortable.
Yeah, I like to just use different language. Just for me.
Yeah. My podcast.
I just came in here. I don't know that.
But it's the power of
The power
being uncomfortable.
All right, and then you're asking Alex how he feels without debriefing me. So I'm saying what I want to say, which is I say challenging because uncomfortable is discouraging to me. I'm giving you my testimony.
Yeah, but what I'm saying to the listeners is that we got to be real.
I got you.
Being uncomfortable is what it is.
I got it.
When there's a demand put on you that you don't feel that prepared for or whatever, you tend to feel uncomfortable. When you're put in sticky situations that are unfamiliar to you, you're around people. It could be going to a party and you don't know anybody there. You're uncomfortable. But that party might hold the very key to unlock the door that you've been knocking at for the past 2 years. Because the people that you need to know that can help fund the project that you're wanting to get off the ground are there. So that bridge from where you are to where you're trying to go, I'm saying, is also usually called uncomfortable. And we have to be willing to look uncomfortable in the face and say, it is what it is. It's a part of the journey. And I'm willing to embrace it for my expected end, right? And so that's why I'm saying, I want people to recognize, because for me, I was ignorant. I thought that if something made me uncomfortable, it was bad and that I should run from it. And we have so many people that run from anytime they get uncomfortable. If they're on a job, they don't like some of the situations that's going on. It's processing you. But it made us uncomfortable, so now we're going to run. It could be in a relationship. That relationship is taking you through some areas that you've never had to really explore or deal with. Now you're feeling uncomfortable. And so some people run. And so what I'm saying is I'm wanting to shine the light on the fact that discomfort, feeling uncomfortable, is not a sign that this is not meant for you. To the contrary, it's usually a sign that this is exactly where you need to be. And this is a part of the processing that you need to embrace so that you can make it to the other side of that. So when I read my book is when I really began to understand that. Proximity, right? We're used to what we're in proximity to. Usually every day you drive to the same way to your job. You do the same things through this run of the week. And, this is what we're accustomed to. But usually change happens in our lives for the better when we break the cycle of what we tend to always do. There's a study that even shows proximity. If you change what you do in your routine, you could be in the same city living 3 miles apart from the love of your life. Never ran into them. Y'all just 3 miles apart. Your cars probably pass. You might even pass each other in the grocery store, but there's those circles of separation. So if you change just your routine, but we don't want to do that. We don't want to move. We don't want to change certain things because we get comfortable with the way that things are. You heard that? We're comfortable. So I don't know, I wanted to challenge our listeners today to shake it up and to allow something to get you uncomfortable. One of my sons told me, Mom, your world's too small. You need to start going out. You don't network, you don't do anything. And it's true. And so what I did is I said to myself, the next time someone invites me to go somewhere, because I'm good at the excuse why I can't go, I said, I'm going to go. So that, because I didn't want to deal with, if I don't feel good there, if I don't know enough people. No. I'm just going to make that commitment. And I've been doing it. And I can tell you it's made a big change in terms of where I'm going and what I'm trying to accomplish.
I have a question, and Alex hinted to this earlier. There's that extreme of people who see challenges, see uncomfortability, and they live in chaos. And people who live in supreme soft comfort. When you see a challenge, when you see discomfort coming your way, and this question is for both of you. How do you discern, is this worth me being uncomfortable? Is this worth the challenge that it's taking on?
I think sometimes you don't know. What you have to have is an understanding of what processing looks like. Then you can better ascertain what this is. But think about it. I'm still ahead of the game now in terms of being compared to where I was, because anytime I felt uncomfortable, I felt like that was not good for me. So now I'm at least being present enough and intentional enough to try to discern, is this why am I uncomfortable? And what aspect of this could have any implications for my future? And so then I'm able to weigh it and then make my determinations.
I would say that the most important thing is you knowing what your goal is. If you know what your goal is, then you have an understanding of, hey, does this uncomfort? I'm gonna start using that.
Now that's good. That's good.
Since it's the trigger
That's
word,
a really good.
I can't say challenge. I'm gonna say uncomfort.
Yeah.
So
since uncomfortable.
So uncomfortable. See, it don't even sound right when I say it. So once you know what your goal is, then you understand, hey, this is good uncomfort, because this uncomfort is gonna lead me to do something that's gonna get me closer to my goal. But that's the thing. That's why I personally don't call it that, because when you have goals, who cares about your company? Like that's such a low way to think.
Athlete's mind. You're a champion.
That's a very low.
We gotta drill down to average everyday people who don't have the heart of a champion.
Well,
It's uncomfortable.
Yeah. But that's like living in fear. Everything's scary.
Mm-hmm.
You know what I'm saying? Like so if you
cater to the fear.
Cater to that, like, oh yeah, well, this is so scary. Man, have you watched the news? Going to school is scary. Walking out your house is scary. Having faith that you have enough to gas up, that could be scary. Cards are getting declined now. So it's just like, depending on your viewpoint of certain things, it's going to be your reality. So if you look at things small, you're going to be small. If you look at things, big, then you're already seeing yourself as someone that can. So that's why, for my personal life, there's certain train of thoughts that I can't afford to have. So worrying too much about a feeling is already beneath me, because my purpose and my goals don't care about how I feel. And that's with anything in life. So if you ever want to be the best that you can be, you can't worry about how that's going to feel to become that. Can you imagine if a caterpillar cared about how it felt when it's in the cocoon to become a butterfly? Like, it's just it just knows that it has to do that. And it doesn't care. For all we know, it might feel like hell inside of that cocoon. It's literally transforming. That's probably not a pleasant process, but it can't worry about how it feels, or else it's not going to do what it was created to do. So that's why, for me personally, I can talk about the same subject, but I won't use any of the same vernacular, because to use that vernacular is making my situation bigger than who I am. And to me, it's the opposite. I'm bigger than anything that I'm facing, any challenge. So that challenge is just going to make me a bigger person when I defeat it, or when I overcome it, or when I accomplish the goal that's beyond the challenge. So that's why when just talking in the level of uncomfort, it's hard for me to expound on those things, because uncomfortable is a feeling. Some people are uncomfortable getting naked, even with their spouse. Certainly, you know what I'm saying? You can go, that's such a thing that it's so unique to everybody else. It's just like fear. Certain people are scared to get on planes. Other people get on planes without a thought. So it's certain emotion, it's hard to speak to that emotion because the emotion's not rational. But a goal is rational, and the challenges that come with the goal is rational. So if you keep things in a rational, logical state of mind, you're able to deal with it.
Well, with that, I love your answer. And it was a short podcast, but it was something that I think was just one of those tidbits that you drop in somebody's mind, and it'll go a long way.
Yeah.
So thank you for tuning in and listening, and be kind to yourself.